Alright guys, what I have here is a Dearborn unvented heater, model number DRC40CM. I am going to attempt to work on this thing. Now they quit manufacturing these, but there's still a Dearborn website and a store in Fort Worth, Texas where you can buy some hard to find parts. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the adjustment rod. Simple enough. Shortly thereafter we'll take these two hoses off. Now, I'd already replaced the hose once because I thought it might be the pilot hose here that was not sending fuel, but that wasn't the problem. The hose line was pinched, so I replaced this. I bought the breakaway coupler there, and I'll show you that here in a little bit when I take it out. Bought that from a heater and air conditioning company, and I bought some new valves here, but it's still not getting fuel through it. So what we're going to do is take this whole regulator body off again and take it apart and see if we can't find where the problem is. Alright, so I got the control body off. There was some Teflon tape on here. I just pulled all that off and cleaned it up, so whenever I put the new stuff on there, it'll seal up good. This piece is the one I was telling you about. This flange here I picked up at an air conditioning store. It's pretty basic. It's just it's got a breakaway, so you'll leave about 1/8 of an inch or so in there. When you stick it back in its housing, you tighten it down, this piece breaks away from the rest of this piece, so it all comes in one piece initially. Alright, so I unscrewed this top piece. Has fairly long screws, and they look like these here. Fine threads, Phillips head. I replaced those back in the housing here so I could ensure that I put the right screws back in the right place, because I am prone to forget which screw went where after everything is taken apart. So this is what it looks like inside there, and there is a little soft plastic rubber bushing sort of thing here. It has the one single hole to the inside and then double to the outside. There was a little bit of dust and stuff on this, so I went ahead and wiped it off. I'll clean it up a little better when it's all said and done. Also removed this screw here next to the pilot tubing, and there's another little tiny screw in there, and I'm guessing that is some sort of adjustment screw. So when I take this next part off, that should tell me whether or not that thing has any issues turning, if it's not getting fuel through that line, which is causing the pilot not to heat up. So there we go. Okay, so I got the top pulled off. This is where you find all the delicate pieces. This little spring here goes on the control valve. It's got a setup in there. It's got a small amount of machine grease on it to just to keep it lubed so it spins freely. This is the part that I'm concerned with right here. If the temperature valve isn't reading right, then it's going to keep this valve closed. So that may be the reason we're not getting any fuel. When it's on pilot, it lets just a tiny bit of fuel through to light the pilot. When it gets hot enough, that valve should be opening up, so you can go ahead and send the fuel to the burner. Unfortunately, that is not opening up right, so it makes me wonder if this mechanism here is not sensing the temperature the way it should be. So I'm hoping we'll be able to figure out exactly why. It was pretty dirty in here, however, so I'm going to clean it up real good and just see if cleaning it up helps it out at all. And like I said, there's a lot of debris and gunk in here that could be hanging things up in any direction. Also, I'm not exactly sure what this little filter is, but it looks a whole lot like a filter on a Zippo lighter. So I don't know if that would even be interchangeable if you had to change one out, but it looks about the same. Next I'm going to pull this this little cover off here, and I'm going to clean it up. It looks like something that would be inside of a carburetor for like a lawnmower or something. So we may have to see if we can find a new one of those, if nothing else. I'm not sure how hard that would be to find. Alright, so here we are. I got all the pieces laid out on the table now. Everything's stripped completely down. The only other thing that could be taken apart is this, which is basically the huge valve that sends the fuel. Fuel comes in here, comes into this chamber. If the valve opens like it should when the pilot light is on, it'll open up, let fuel go into this chamber. When it's open, obviously now I got it closed, it'll send the fuel in. The fuel actually goes in this direction, runs through over here, and then it runs out this way. I think I figured out that the little piece of cotton here is probably in this housing for moisture, because there's no holes there where it would be filtering through the fuel. So I'm guessing that's just a moisture collection. Everything's completely clean inside. I did notice that on several moving parts you got metal on metal, so I found out when I was cleaning out all the sand and dirt that was in it that it was all sticking to a real light grease. So I'm gonna put a light coating of brake grease in there. The threads for the thermocoupler sort of thing had grease, so when it feeds through this section, it goes in there and threads nice and smooth and seals up good. Also, this portion here had grease where it sits inside here, and that's basically where the control knob is going to be, on the outside for setting the settings on the fuel. Also down in there's grease, but since I didn't take it apart, I'm not going to have to add any extra grease to it. And there was grease around this shaft, because this shaft has to feed back in through this hole right here, and since it's going to be moving on there, you definitely want it to be lubed. So alright, so got all the hose lines back on, got the valve back on, control shaft there. Everything should be hooked up just the way it was when I started. Alright, I got my propane bottle in here in the shop with me. I got the door open. Technically you shouldn't be having it anywhere near your heater, but I'm trying to test it out and get everything going. I lit the pilot light. As you see, it's heating up on that little thermocoupler there. I'll let it get nice and toasty on that thing here for just a little bit. Give it a chance to open up the fuel valve a little bit, and then I'll turn it to the on position. We should be able to get fuel in there at that point. It looks like we got it running, and I guess in theory it would be fixed, but not necessarily. I had to cheat a little bit. I had to take the little flapper valve out that we showed you earlier. I took it out just so it would make heat for now, and just to ensure that that was the problem that I found. And sure enough, it is the problem. I guess what I'm probably going to end up doing is replacing this entire unit and get a nicer one that actually has a thermostat and temperature settings. You can still find them online in different places. Like I said, on the Dearborn website they can sell some of this stuff. But for now we got it working. So if anybody has any comments or tips or anything else, just leave them. I'll check them out, man. Anything that you can do to help me, let me know. Anything I can do to help you. Hopefully this was a little bit of information for anybody who's looking for some.